So this video is going to show you how to access the coach portal and create a post. Now, I will say that there have been some glitches so far in the 4 weeks that this platform has been around. So if you're finding, like I know, scheduled posts were working correctly, and now recently it seems like sometimes even if you schedule it to post in the future, people can see it right away. So if that does happen, I'm sorry. And let's try not to get frustrated. Just report the bug and they're working on fixing it. But I also wanted to let you know that so you know that you didn't necessarily do anything wrong if that happens. Hopefully they will get it fixed. So it's working smoothly for us soon. So there are two sources of content to draw on. And then there are two different ways to schedule a post, or rather to put up a post. So the two content sources, you can create an original post or you can look in the post library. I'll show you the post library. Actually, let me go back. So let's start over. So once you're in beachbodyondemand.com in a web browser, you click BOD groups. And then you should see our group. If it's not showing up for you, let me know. So I just clicked on the current group at the time that I'm making this video, and then it takes me to the group feed. So from there, if you are logged in as a coach, you should see this menu at the top. And when you go to create a post, so what I recommend doing is typing it out in Word in another document, or, if you want to type it in an email, but just type it somewhere. So you'll have it just in case it somehow gets lost or, you lose power in the middle of posting it. You always want to have the text typed out somewhere else so that you can go back to it and you don't have to start over if something happens. So then you would add post and just put your text here, and you can add a photo. So I have a whole photo library called Challenge Group Images. If you would like access to this, there's a lot that's in here, and you can just go and kind of poke around and see what you might find that's useful. Just let me know. It's on Dropbox, so I can invite you to this folder so you can access it too and use all of these images. Or you can just go hunting on your own. For something that's in a small private group like this, I don't worry too much about image permissions and taking something from Google Images. It's a different story for my public social media where, if I'm using a copyrighted image, the copyright holder could see it and it's getting to a much larger audience. So within this group, I don't worry too much about it. But Beachbody also has a whole library of images that we can use related to the program. So, okay. You can either use my image library or start building your own, is my point here. So you would add an image. Let me just show you how it looks. So the image loads, and then you can click post now. As to whether to pin it, my instructions might change. With this group, we have been pinning them just because otherwise things are really hard to find, but I'm hoping they will give us more sorting options to make that easier. So I guess at this point, I don't really care if you pin it or not. Do what you feel like. And I'll provide clearer instructions for that later on as our procedures evolve for these groups. And then you can either post it right away, or if you click the arrow, you can schedule it. And I guess you can even save it as a draft. I haven't tried that yet. That's a new feature here. So if you're working on a post and you want to come back to it later, you could save it as a draft. If you schedule it, this is what it looks like. It gives you the date, and it says day 0 because tomorrow is day 1 of our group. The times for me are showing in Central Time. I think it just pulls in whatever time zone you're in, but just note that, obviously it's going to be a different time for people in different time zones. But again, we don't have specific times for posting in our group. So in general, I try to schedule them for the morning if I'm scheduling them ahead of time. And I also try to post in the morning, although I don't always achieve that goal, I will admit. Okay, I'm just going to cancel this. So if I had scheduled it, it would show up here under scheduled draft posts. And this is also where, I should have saved it as a draft. Let's try that and see what it looks like. Let's just save as draft. And now, so scheduled posts will show you when they are scheduled to be published, and you can still edit them prior to publication or after publication if you see a typo that you want to fix or something like that. And then this one is marked as draft, and I can either delete it or go in and continue editing, and then I could schedule it or publish it. So let me just delete it. Okay, now let's talk about post library and group guides. So these are, well, that's interesting. Okay, let me go back. Let me show you what I'm noticing. So you're in the feed as a coach, you're creating a post, or you pick the post library, but you know what I saw, okay, under scheduled draft posts, this is where you can go into these group guides that Beachbody provides for us. So they have a whole library of challenge group guides. So for example, you know, for any program or for any fitness program, any nutrition program, you have suggested posts. So you can read through these and use them for inspiration. You could copy and paste. I really don't recommend just copying and pasting because you want it to have your voice and your take on it and your personal experience. But you know, they provided these for us for a reason. So that the group guides is really a valuable resource, and that's where I get most of my images. So these you're not going to find in the challenge group guides folder. I have another separate folder for images I got from Beachbody, but you can go and just right click, secondary click on any image and save image as, and you can save it on your computer to then upload into the group with your post. So this is a great source for images, themes, topic ideas. So that's the group guides. Now post library will give you access to posts from previous groups. So I think when you're a new coach, you're not going to see anything listed here other than maybe the groups that you have been part of as a participant. But as you can see, you know, I have been using the Challenge Tracker app since 2016 when it launched. So I have all of these groups to choose from, and I could go back and find posts from any of those groups. It's not searchable, so if I'm like, well, I want to post about muscle soreness, there's no easy way to find that. But if I know that I'm doing Lift 4 and I want some posts that go along with Lift 4, I could go back and find this group. So my point is, as you trying to get it to scroll up. That's annoying. The longer you are a coach, the longer or the more of a library you'll establish here, and you can go back to your old posts. And let's see if I do. So this is just our previous month's challenge group. I believe it's going to allow me to choose from not only the posts that I wrote, but the posts that all the coaches wrote. And it's even pulling in our workouts, which is not that helpful, but it is what it is for now. Anyway, if you find a post that you liked, you can copy and schedule, and it really just recreates the post. And then you can publish it right away, or you can schedule it. Okay. So that is not the most helpful as a brand new coach, but if you wanted to, like, just for example, let me see. I wish I could go to just showing my posts and not everyone's posts. We used to have that option, but Let's scroll all the way down. So there is a post that I use during the first week of the program every single time because it's our prep week and people are getting ready to often start a new fitness program. So it has like a checklist of things to think about and to do before we start the group. Okay, so I will update the post with what I'm, personally going to be doing this month, and then I would change the date to Wednesday, let's say 6 a.m. And then I would probably swap out the photo so it doesn't look exactly the same, and I will schedule it. So that is how I will create a post from the post library. All right, so I think that covers both writing your own post and pulling a post from a past group or the group guides. And then I think we've also covered publishing a post in real time versus scheduling it versus saving it as a draft. So let me know if you have any questions. That concludes this video.